What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I once again want to go back to the drift class here, and that is probably going to come down to the fact that we did have a summit with them recently, and also on top of that, we also got a new playlist. Now, a lot of players might be wondering, well, Block, like, what is going to be a good perk set, or like, what is going to be some gold part sets I should go after? I am going to be making a video going over different part sets you guys do want to have for this category, but after the recent summit, though, I did end up stumbling upon a really good build I would definitely recommend having on a specific class that is designed for racing. Now, the reason why I do say that, though, is you can obviously have different builds that most likely will have, like, a different effect. So right now, guys, I am currently running the Drifty and Pure on this build here. It is pretty much going to be maxed out on every part for the most part. Kind of funny how that was said. But I did end up having Drifty at 2% on every single part, though, which is going to have a 14% boost. On top of that, though, you can also have the driver perk active, at least the legend points on it, which is going to increase it just a bit more. Now, a lot of players might be wondering, well, Blocked, is it really going to be worth using? Like, do I actually want to take a slot up on my Fix-It stat with having Drifty? I would have to admit, with many of the drift cars obviously wanting to drift, shocking, I know that a drift car does want to drift. I would say the big thing here, though, is many of these cars are going to gain a lot more nitrous, at least from what I have seen so far when testing out different builds at this point. I really do think having Drifty is going to be one of the best builds you can possibly have, at least for racing. And on top of that, also having Pure for like more power in the nitrous. Now, I do want to admit, though, I would not recommend getting rid of like a different build for this. I do actually have two different Nitro Chemist sets right here. The other one is going to be Hothead and Slippery for like the main events that are drifting, and I pretty much only use this build for those. But I was like, you know what though, let's go try something out here for the actual events. We do know you're going to want to have more nitrous in the main events themselves. That way you not only become faster, it's also going to be more viable. Now for the demonstration here, I am going to do this at the racetrack. That way you know I don't run into traffic, or you know they most likely do not get in my way. But the first thing I am going to show here, guys, is going to be a run with a regular Nitro Chemist set. I did end up putting the other set I do have with Hothead and Slippery, and on top of that, I also took off my legend points on Drifty. Now, I did want to show this, though, because I really do feel like it's going to be that good. Now, we do know having a Drifty perk, you obviously get more nitrous when drifting, so having nothing active on this turn, guys, you're going to see how slow that actually is. You pretty much get no nitrous whatsoever around that corner. Now, if you were to be racing or something, you can be like, well, yeah, Blocked, if I am drifting, well, it's probably going to be slower anyway, like, why would I want to drift? One of the craziest things about the drift cars is going around a turn and drifting is actually going to make you quicker in some ways. Sure, gripping certain turns might actually make you a bit faster, but one thing I have noticed, though, going around and turn and drifting is not going to make you slower. But now spawning back over to the starting point here, I did end up putting the legend points on Drifty, which is supposed to be a 10% increase. Now you guys are then going to notice right off the bat that it does make it a bit quicker, especially compared to before you actually get nitrous when going around a corner. When you don't have anything active whatsoever, it basically takes it forever to go up, but having that small 10% on there makes it so much quicker than before. And one of the best things I found about this, though, is if you are going on some of these races, at least if you were using a lot of nitrous drift a little bit, and boom, you have a lot of nitrous again. Now spawning back over to the starting point once again, so I am now running a Drifty perk on everything, including the driver perks. What's going to be insane about this, guys, is look how fast the nitrous goes up. Like, I am barely going around this corner in first gear, and I almost had a full bar right there. Now, I did, of course, mess up there, but my goodness, it goes up so dang quick. And one thing I did notice that's so good about this, though, is compared to the other classes, you can actually drift in this game insanely well, but also hold your speed in a drift class itself. On top of that, though, you can actually drift and also use your nitrous in these corners to increase your speed, so you are most likely going to notice a huge increase in your speed having more nitrous. So one thing I did notice with the drift cars is why not run something like a Drifty perk. At first, though, I really wasn't thinking the Drifty perk was going to be all that good, but I was like, you know what, let's throw this on and also add the legend points as well. And I was like, my goodness, you really get nitrous back pretty much instantly. And on top of that, you also get to run the nitrous in the corner to increase your speed around it. So I would say having Drifty on at least the drift class is definitely going to be one of the best builds ever. Now I am planning to test out different builds like the Extra Pump and the Pure on this class as well, but right now guys I would definitely recommend trying Drifty and Pure if you want a different build on this class. Like I really do feel like it's going to be that good not only for racing, but you can also mess around and make yourself a lot faster around these corners, and I would say there really is going to be a big fun factor to it. But if you have any questions at all about this build, let me know in the comments below, and I will definitely be testing out more builds in the future, coming up here soon.